Hello there, folks. My name is Dan Bell, and I am from Indigent, and today I'm going to walk you through creating a program pipeline report. It's this report that you're looking at right here, and it's utilizing Excel, and it's a Power View here, and it's basically a project online report using OData datasets, and that's what you see right there. Then we have basically three slicers that can go ahead and filter the data. Two charts up top, cost by program, work by program. So it's overall it's a pipeline, program pipeline report. Cost by program chart, pie in the top left, work by program, pie in the top right. And then it has the table with more information. So project type, start, finish date, cost, and work. A lot of information here. Quite a bit to this report, actually. So yeah, so it's going to take a little bit of work to get this thing done. But hey, let's go ahead and get her done. All right, so let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to launch Excel. So we'll launch a brand new instance of Excel here. Right there. There we go. Now, one thing I need here is to basically grab my PWA URL. And I'm working with two monitors here, so you cannot see everything I'm doing, but it's pretty straightforward, the things I am doing. In Excel, data tab, yours might be different. I have Office 365 here. I'm always getting updates with this Excel. Therefore, sometimes this from OData data feed option does move. I had to add it in another version of Excel that I had on another machine the other day to a legacy data feed, and it showed up somewhere else here. But this is basically what I'm looking for from OData data feed. Pops up this data connection wizard. Notice I paste in the URL through the instance name, this case PWA, add underscore API / project data. Hit next, leave the defaults, and it's going to bring up my data connection wizard where I select the tables. Only looking at project data, therefore, pick the project's data set, click next, just give me an opportunity here to go ahead and change the name. I really don't have a preference here. I'm just going to create the connection at this point, click OK. At this point, the tool is merely creating the connection, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the data model. It looks like it's finished at this point, so we'll go into the data model here for a moment. And data model just opened right there. And so there's all the data from my data set. Right, so there's a lot of fields here. One of the things that we tend to do when we develop these reports, because you're transferring a lot of data over the WAN, and there can be latency, there can be bandwidth issues, the more data you're passing over, the more time it may take for the refresh to take place. Therefore, one of the things that we consider paring down the data. What does paring down mean? Well, paring down just basically means let's only keep the data in the data set that we're really going to use in this particular case, right? A couple ways you can do it. You can either select the fields you want to keep and keep those, or you can go ahead and select the fields you want to get rid of, right? And select to get rid of the data sets fields in those particular reports, right? So one way or the other, you're going to go ahead and get rid of them. It's pretty simple here. So let me go ahead and do this again. Bring this back up. Right, so there it is. So I have all the fields here. Go ahead and click diagram view once again. There's my projects, and we'll expand that. Again, you see all the different fields here, right? So I have all these enterprise project. I have optimizers. I have planners. Never going to use those. And all you have to do is you right click on it, say delete from model. It removes the fields from the data. And then that just means it's that much less data that you're bringing into the report. Okay. You know, I could remove some of these workflow fields. Therefore, it sometimes is a good idea to take into consideration what fields are you going to use in this report. And then sometimes what you'll also do is you'll consider, well, you know, I might use this data model for other reports. Therefore, consider what you might use in this report and subsequent reports. Okay, so let's get rolling. I'm going to do some pre-formatting. I usually put my slicers up here to the left, So I'm going to just make some initial formatting changes right there. And what I'm going to do is insert my pivot table right about there. So let's go ahead and do this. Insert pivot table. It has my data set already selected. When I do that, it puts the pivot table right here, and there it is. First thing I'm going to put in here is the project name field. Click, and there's the project name. All right. Hey, who knows? Let's go and select. At this point, we'll try to find my program field. Boom, there's program. Notice how the tool thinks it's doing me a favor by indenting these fields on top of one another here. See, so I can go ahead and say I don't want any totals. Please display them side by side, right? Okay, so you can always go back and watch this video over and over again to cover what you might be missing. Start date, we'll add that. We'll add finish date. It takes a minute to add the start date. Oh, that's not really what I wanted to happen here. We're going to remove these. And that was really not what I wanted to happen here. And again, it's just Excel trying to help me out here. Thinking it's really helping us out, doing us a favor here. I'm going to find project start date again. And this time I'm going to place it where I want it, right here. Still did something really interesting here. Did not want that. Okay. We're going to try this one more way. Pivot table options, display, classic, do that. Now I'm going to take my start date and just dump it right there. That was the easy way. You know, if you've done this before, you probably have favorite ways that you do things as well. I'm just going to dump that in there. It's putting counts in there. It's absolutely not what I want, but yeah, what we're going to do is this. We're going to move them over, put them there. There's my start and finish date. We'll go ahead and change those like we did. Right, now we'll change the finish date and make sure it's not going to total it. Good. Okay, now I can go back to the formatting that I had before. Excellent. And what else do I want? Well, I want project cost. There's my cost. And work. Go ahead and have my work field. Okay. You know what? I just want to call it work. I want simple titles here. Don't need all that extra. And how about that? And that. Oop. Let's go ahead and undo that. Okay. And we're just going to call this project. Okay. When it comes to the design, sometimes I really like to have something pretty simple here. Get rid of all of that. And can we have just banded rows here? Something like that. Yep. Get rid of the row headers. Get rid of the column headers. Yep, that's what we're going to do. Do something really simple here. And all I want to do is I want to see some slight rows there, highlight between. And I hate it when I take too long to pick out a color here, but some of these are definitely nothing to get hooked up on here. Want something light. There we go, right there. We're going to stick with that. Then we're going to put a header here. Go back home, make this dark blue. Just about done with the table. A couple other things I want to do, housekeeping things, is we want to get rid of these expandable items in front of there, right? So a couple things you can do is, and sometimes they tend to be hiding. So notice that there's the plus minus button, right? So when I click that, the plus and minus items in front of the columns go away. That's part of what I want to do. Okay. So we've got rid of that. And then we want to do a little bit of formatting here. So let's go ahead and field settings. Actually, let's do it this way. This might be a little quicker. General, short date, general to short date. My costs will make it a currency. We'll widen that column just a little bit. And this one will make a number. We'll leave it to positions for now. I can do with that. I think we're doing okay so far. Yeah. All right. So we have that. Let's go ahead and add a couple of charts here, actually. So, and I think I'm going to need a little bit more space here. So let's go ahead and add. I can always remove it if I don't need it. We're going to add, yeah, I think we're going to need a few more there. Let's go ahead and add these. Let's add the chart. Insert. And we have to do it on, if I do it on a pivot chart, it's going to automatically pick up the data set that I'm using. So I would prefer to do that. Pick up that. And what we're going to use as our pivot is program. So I will find program in this list of fields here. And yeah, so now where did my program field go in here? Strategy, risk rating, total cost, sponsor, QA complete, proposed cost, project title. I have a lot of custom fields in here. And it looks like in this particular case, it changed the sort order. Thanks very much. All right, the first column is going to be project work. Yeah, that's what it did. It changed the sort order of these. Usually the custom fields show up at the end. So we want project work, so we'll look for project and then find work in here. There's work. Remember from before, we didn't want that kind of chart. We wanted a pie, actually. So we'll select a pie. We do want to change the colors. We're going to select kind of a bluish up here, and exactly what we're looking for. I think that's closer, but what we want to do is get a different layout here. Let's select something that has the percentages. That's better. I'm going to change this work, actually by cost by program, and a couple of things we have to do here. And let's see if we can find these things. Get rid of these. So if you go to the Analyze ribbon, field buttons all the way over here on the right, you'll notice all these items that are checked off. Basically, I'm going to select the last one that says hide all, and it gets rid of all the noise. Right, so if I deselect hide all, you can see that it brings back these labels. Right, so if I want to get rid of the labels, have more real estate for the actual content, I can hit the hide all. Again, insert. Let's do this, pivot chart. Once again, click OK. And it's going to insert it right there. And it worked out pretty well because the charts look like they're about the right size, the spacing I've got. So we'll try to get it there as close as we can. Again, we said we want a program, right? Now this time I know to actually look at the top. The first one was project. What did I say? Did I actually do? Let's make sure that I did the right one here. I did project work, so let me change that to work. Right, project work. This one's going to be cost. Let's find project cost. And that should be right there. Remember, we're going to change the project, change the type to a pie. We're going to change the colors to that. Then we're going to do a quick layout. We want the percentages. And then we're going to go to Analyze, Field Buttons, Hide All, just like we did before. And then we're going to do Cost by Program. Look at that. There we go. So now we have our table at the bottom. We have our chart in the top left, work by program, chart in the top right, cost by program. Looking good so far. I'd like to give the user the ability to filter out data, right? What do we want them to be able to filter by? Well, project status would be good. Let's find project status. And yeah, again, there we go. Add a slicer. There's my project status. And what I'm going to do is this. I can snap to grid. That'll help me out a little bit here. Okay. That looks good. And we're going to change the color, make it a dark blue. We don't need it that tall, that's for sure. That's our project status. We're just going to call that status, right? We don't need all that, so let's get rid of that. And another one we want is, I think we want to put program in here as well. And remember, that's up here. Put program. And there we go. We have program. And yeah, we could put whatever else we want here. I think in the other one we had departments. So let's go ahead and continue. So we're going to create the same one. Add department. There's department. Again, we don't need it that tall. Let's minimize it. You notice there's one more thing we have to do to that slicer. Oop. Yeah, we want to do this. Get rid of that. Okay, there's something else I want to do to the slicers, and you'll find out this later. We want to make it so that they will move and resize with the cells. They don't print and they won't be locked. I'm going to do the same thing to this one. Move and size with cells. Same thing with that one. Move and size with cells. Print locked. Why do we want to do that? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to make it so the user can actually expand and collapse the navigation, just in case they have a monitor and they want to use all the real estate. So we're going to allow them to do that. So we did a group. Let's expand this E ever so slightly. D ever so slightly. Let's change that. Oh, that's right. We can't do that. We have to deselect it, right? And the A. Okay, so now, isn't that nice? See? So again, it's just a nicety to give the user the ability to go ahead and collapse their navigation. Now we'll put a title in here. We're going to want it over there. And we said this is going to be our program. Pipeline report, and this shows cost and work by program. Let's resize this to 22, and let's make it the right color blue. I have a logo that I'm going to put in there. I always need logos in the reports. Let's see what I have. There we go. Have that one. I'm going to shrink it up a little and put it on the far right, like so. We're getting pretty close here. Something else I need is I do want a little indicator here. I want that so the user will know to click on that to go ahead and show and hide the navigation. Okay. And just a couple more house cleaning items here, right? So let's do this. Go to View. We don't need to see the headings. We don't need to see the grid lines. Put this over here. And a couple more things here. We want to pivot shader options here. Actually, format chart area. Border, no line, border, no line, like so. And all that's going to do is make it just really, really clean at the very top. There it is. Let's go ahead and save this report. It's going to look real good. I'm going to go ahead and grab my report center URL. And again, like I said, I have another monitor that I'm using so that I'm grabbing my URL over here. We're going to go ahead to, if you haven't done this before, you have to go to your localized folder. For video. Go ahead and save this. There it is. That's done. Now the only thing I didn't check is I want to show the connections. The reason I did that is because I want this slicer to filter both my charts and my table. We want them all to do the same thing. So let's go ahead and do that for all the slicers. And then we'll go ahead and confirm functionality. Okay. All right. Say that once more. Therefore, what if I was to say I only want to see projects that are in execution? So we go ahead and filter for programs in execution. Now we can see we're looking at a much different report, right? We only have a handful of projects in there, and then our charts up top change quite a bit as well. Maybe we want to see just plan. Again, different picture, plan and execute. Different picture again. Go ahead and save that. Exit out. Now, bring back our environment. Let's go ahead and refresh our screen. And here's my project web app environment. I have my reports grouped by different areas, and I have my program pipeline report for video right there. You can see it. We just saved it. Click on it, and there it goes, refreshing in Excel web app, and there you go, folks. Hope you enjoyed that. I really enjoyed developing it for you right there. If you have any questions, you can contact us directly. There'll be some information along with this video, some contact information. Don't hesitate to contact us. We'd be happy to help you in any way we can. Thanks very much. Have a great day.